Alright, I'm going to be talking about parents as leaders in this discussion today. So for the role play, I don't have anyone who can do it with me. It's just going to be me, but that's okay. So there'll be a father who comes home. He notices that the kids aren't around, so he goes to his wife and he goes, "Hey, where are the children?" And she then goes on to explain that one of them went to the library, one of them is at a friend's house, and then the other one, she told them not to go, but they left anyway. And then he then is like, well, hold on, we have rules. They're not supposed to be gone after 5. They're not supposed to leave when they're supposed to. They shouldn't be going anywhere to do homework, even though it's good that they're doing it and that they are going to the library. They shouldn't be leaving, and they need to come back. This would be an example of parents having probably a little too many rules. If the child is still doing what they need to do, such as doing their homework, then at least I think that it should be okay for the child to leave and go to another setting, such as the library, if it will help them focus. And then the other situation of the kid being at the friend's house, I would say that there should be times when the rules should be stretched or they shouldn't be followed 100%, and I think that parents should be okay with just allowing their kids to still to ask questions about the rules, and if they need to be modified, then they can do that. That wouldn't necessarily be in this situation, but I do think that that is a good thing that parents should be doing, is just discussing whether or not a rule is okay and if it needs to be modified if the child is wanting something else, or if they have a suggestion and they're not immediately being shut down. The next situation of the child going out anyway, that would be an example of a child who is being a little deviant or are wanting to just do what they want, and usually there are reasons for that, and I think that the parent should sit down with the child once they get back. There should be discipline that is given, but then at the same time they should be listening to figure out why exactly they are not listening, and then coming to a resolution together with that, because kids normally don't just act out because they want to. There's almost always a reason. So then I would also say that the child, if the parent has an issue with the rules that they've set, it should be okay to bring them up. Although I would say it's a good thing that they are having the discussion in private instead of having it in front of the children. What they'd want to do is have rules so they can hold the family together and not make it so that they aren't communicating well. There can be some risks about having too many rules and too little rules. I would say in the situation that I described, it would be best if they just kind of went over them, modified them, since there is a child that's acting out, and there should be disciplinary action taken since they didn't listen, and they would need to come up with that together and figure out what they can do in that situation. If the rule isn't being enforced, then they can possibly provide incentives, but they don't want that to end up being a tactic that won't work in the long run. if there are going to be consequences for breaking rules, then they just need to be careful. They shouldn't last too long, and it shouldn't go to the point of abuse in any case. So basically just the point of this is to have good rules in the home that aren't being abusive, but they are reasonable, and the parent is able to listen to what the child has to say if they break them, and if they think it's unreasonable, and not just lash out, and because that would not be a good decision, and that also wouldn't really show the parent as a leader. That would show them as something different, and they should be seen as a parent, a friend, and something along those lines.